Premature ejaculation after 60 isn't just frustrating, it's the silent thief of intimacy, confidence, and even marriages. For many men, it feels like your own body has turned against you. One moment you want to give pleasure, the next it's over before it begins, leaving you embarrassed, ashamed, and more distant from the woman beside you. The truth is, premature ejaculation after 60 is not rare. It's one of the most common complaints older men whisper about but never admit out loud. It affects erections, it erodes penis health, and it makes masturbation feel more like proof of weakness than a release of desire. But what if I told you there are 7 proven techniques, tested by men your age, that can slow you down, strengthen your erections, and bring back the confidence you thought was gone forever? What if you could look at yourself in the mirror and feel like a man again without reaching for pills, pumps, or risky surgery? Here's the part most doctors never share. The pharmaceutical industry doesn't profit when men take control naturally, but control is possible. If you've noticed your body betraying you in the bedroom, you need to hear this today. Comment below if you've struggled with premature ejaculation after 60. Your story matters, and by speaking up, you'll help other men realize they're not fighting this battle alone. Share if prostate issues or weaker erections have changed your intimacy. When you put it into words, you give another man the courage to face what he's been too ashamed to admit. You are not invisible, and you are not broken. By joining the conversation here, you create a brotherhood of men determined to reclaim control, strength, and confidence. And don't forget to subscribe, because every week we uncover natural, shame-free solutions for penis health, erections, and vitality, solutions that can bring your best years back into reach. George was 64 years old, a proud ex-Navy officer, disciplined, respected by everyone around him. He had spent his life leading men, facing storms at sea, and carrying himself with quiet strength. But behind closed doors, when it came to intimacy, George was terrified. He couldn't last more than a minute. Each attempt left him ashamed, and each failure pushed him further away from the woman he loved most. He started making excuses, pretending to be too tired, claiming his back hurt, even lying about headaches just to avoid the moment of truth. His wife knew something was wrong, but George couldn't bring himself to speak the words. For him, admitting premature ejaculation after 60 felt like surrendering his identity as a man. When George finally sat in my office, his voice was low, almost a whisper. "I'm Dr. Catherine Rotker, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience. I've heard thousands of stories like his, but I could still feel the weight of his shame." He leaned forward and said, "Doctor, I can't control myself. I don't even feel like the man I used to be." Here's the hidden truth, I told George. Premature ejaculation after 60 is not weakness, and it is not the end of intimacy. It's the body's way of signaling deeper changes. Testosterone levels decline by about 1% each year after the age of 40, which directly affects stamina and control. Studies from the National Institutes of Health confirm that reduced testosterone makes ejaculation reflexes harder to manage. Blood flow was another enemy George never thought about. The penis relies on tiny blood vessels staying open and responsive, but with age, endothelial cells, the inner lining of those vessels, become stiff and damaged. Harvard research shows that over 70% of men with erection problems also experience issues with early release because poor circulation makes the penis hypersensitive. Then there was the role of the brain. Years of stress, poor sleep, even the way George had trained himself during masturbation created faulty nerve pathways. It was like his brain had learned to race toward release, and his body couldn't hit the brakes. According to the Journal of Sexual Medicine, this misfiring between brain and nerve signals is one of the most overlooked causes of premature ejaculation in older men. George thought he was broken. He thought it was too late. But the truth was simpler and more hopeful. His premature ejaculation wasn't a flaw in his character. It was a combination of hormones, circulation, and nerve sensitivity working against him. Problems that science has mapped out clearly. Problems that can be corrected with the right approach. And when George realized that, his shoulders eased for the first time in years, because he finally saw that he wasn't powerless. He wasn't doomed. He was just facing a challenge that many men over 60 silently endure. What George learned and what I'll share with you now are 7 techniques that changed everything. The enemy you face is not just in your head, it is inside your body, working silently every single day. George thought his problem was lack of willpower, or that maybe he had lost his discipline. But the real truth was much darker. The first silent enemy is endothelial dysfunction. That's the medical term for when the inner lining of your blood vessels stops working properly. The penis depends on healthy blood flow to maintain strong erections and control ejaculation. When the endothelium breaks down, those tiny vessels can't hold blood. Erections weaken and sensitivity skyrockets, leading to premature ejaculation after 60. The National Institutes of Health reports that men with endothelial dysfunction are almost 80% more likely to struggle with erection problems and early release. It's not because you don't care or don't try, it's because your blood vessels can no longer do their job. The second silent enemy is cortisol, the stress hormone. Cortisol floods your system when you're worried, overworked, or even just living under constant pressure. High cortisol lowers testosterone, tightens your muscles, and short circuits the signals between brain and penis. That's why so many men notice their masturbation habits changing, rushing to finish quickly, teaching the brain to release before it's ready. Studies from Harvard Medical School confirm that chronic stress is one of the top drivers of premature ejaculation in men over 60. The third silent enemy hides in your nerves. Over time, the communication between your brain and the penis becomes unbalanced. Think of it as faulty wiring. Your brain pushes the accelerator, but your body has no brakes. This nerve misfiring creates penis hypersensitivity, and the more it happens, the faster the body learns to release. A review in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that over 50% of men with lifelong premature ejaculation had clear signs of neurological hypersensitivity. You may have noticed it yourself: erection problems that creep in, a loss of stamina, even sudden changes in how your body responds to touch. None of this is your fault. These enemies thrive on silence and shame. The more you ignore them, the stronger they become. But here's the urgent truth: these enemies are not unbeatable. Science has uncovered exactly how they work and how to weaken them. And once you see the pattern, you realize that premature ejaculation after 60 is not random, it follows a clear, predictable path. George finally understood that he wasn't fighting himself. He was fighting these hidden forces. And once he knew their names, he could finally fight back. What he discovered next was the simplest and most powerful set of solutions he had ever tried. And they're the same 7 techniques I'm about to give you. George didn't need more pills, and neither did you. What he needed was a system, simple, natural techniques that retrain the body, calm the nerves, and restore confidence. These 7 techniques aren't theories. They're backed by science and proven by men over 60 who refuse to give up. The first technique is strengthening your pelvic floor through Kegel exercises. You may think of them as something women do, but research in the Journal of Sexual Medicine shows men who practice pelvic floor training gain up to 40% more control over ejaculation. When those muscles are strong, you can literally squeeze the brakes when your body tries to release too soon. The second technique is the stop-start method during masturbation. It's uncomfortable at first, pausing right before climax, letting arousal settle, then starting again. But over time, it retrains your penis sensitivity and builds new nerve patterns. NIH studies show that men who practice this method consistently delayed ejaculation by several minutes within just weeks. The third technique is mastering your breath. Deep, slow breathing lowers cortisol levels and slows your heart rate. Cortisol is the stress hormone that robs you of control. By focusing on longer exhalations during intimacy, you trick your body into a calmer state, stretching out your stamina. Harvard research confirms that mindful breathing reduces premature ejaculation by regulating serotonin pathways in the brain. The fourth technique is fueling your body with minerals your hormones desperately need. Zinc and magnesium, found in foods like pumpkin seeds, oysters, and spinach, are critical for testosterone production. Low testosterone is directly linked to premature ejaculation after 60. Studies show men with higher zinc intake had a 40% lower risk of erection problems and early release. The fifth technique is edging. Unlike stop start, edging means bringing yourself close to climax multiple times without release, then allowing orgasm only after several cycles. This builds stamina and resets the ejaculation threshold. It's especially powerful when combined with mindful breathing. The sixth technique is boosting nitric oxide with foods like beets, pomegranate juice, and dark leafy greens. Nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels, improving circulation to the penis and making erections firmer. Stronger erections mean greater control. According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, beetroot juice increased blood flow by 21% in men over 60. The seventh technique is avoiding alcohol before intimacy. Alcohol numbs sensation in the short term, but lowers serotonin and disrupts nerve control. That combination makes premature ejaculation more likely, not less. In fact, Mayo Clinic reports that long-term alcohol use is one of the top lifestyle causes of ejaculation problems in older men. These 7 techniques are not quick tricks. They are a foundation. Together, they rebuild your control from the inside out: hormones, circulation, nerves, and confidence. George followed them step by step, and within weeks, his story began to change. Here's what happens when you commit to these 7 techniques. I've seen it with George, and I've seen it with countless men over 60 who thought their best years were over. The body is remarkable in its ability to heal and retrain itself. By the end of the first week, you feel a shift in energy. Your breathing is deeper, your stress levels drop, and even masturbation starts to last a little longer. For the first time in years, you feel like you're not rushing toward release, you're taking the wheel back. By day 14, the changes are undeniable. Erections begin to feel firmer, blood flow improves, and the stop, start, and edging methods start to feel natural. Your penis isn't betraying you as quickly as before. Studies in the Journal of Urology show that men practicing pelvic floor exercises and nitric oxide boosting foods report a 60% improvement in stamina within 2 weeks. By day 30, your confidence returns. You last longer in intimacy, and your partner notices. Instead of shame or excuses, you feel anticipation. Testosterone levels rise as zinc and magnesium restore balance, nitric oxide keeps your circulation alive, and your nerves relearn control. According to NIH research, consistent pelvic training combined with dietary support improves control by nearly threefold after 1 month. For George, the difference was life-changing. He told me, "I never thought at 64 I'd feel this in control again." His premature ejaculation after 60 wasn't gone overnight, but the timeline gave him hope and then results. Each day built on the last until he felt like himself again. And that's the truth you need to hear. Your body is not done. It is waiting for you to give it the tools to reset. Control, strength, and intimacy are not lost. They're simply buried under years of neglect and silence. But when you commit, the timeline is predictable. Week 1 brings energy. Week 2 brings firmer erections. By week 4, you feel like a man again. And that is the power of these 7 techniques. They don't just promise results, they deliver them step by step. The biggest mistake men make is thinking they can ignore premature ejaculation after 60 and that it will somehow get better on its own. It won't. Silence is the enemy. Every month you wait, blood flow weakens, nerves become more hypersensitive, and erections lose even more strength. Another mistake is depending only on pills. Pills may numb the problem for a night, but they don't retrain your body. In fact, long-term use of certain medications can lower testosterone, damage blood vessels, and make penis sensitivity worse. The Mayo Clinic warns that relying solely on medication can mask deeper circulation problems that lead to both premature ejaculation and erection problems. Then there's the mistake of how you approach masturbation. Rushing through it like a chore trains your brain to release fast. Over time, that pattern becomes automatic, locking premature ejaculation into your nervous system. Studies in the Journal of Sexual Medicine show that men who change their masturbation habits, slowing down, practicing stop start, improved stamina in under 6 weeks, while those who kept rushing saw no change at all. The truth is, if you want to take back control, you must avoid these mistakes. Pills, silence, and rushed habits will only deepen the problem. George learned this the hard way. He wasted years thinking he could tough it out. Don't repeat his mistake. You need to hear this clearly. Premature ejaculation after 60 is not the end of your manhood. It is not proof that you are broken. It is simply a signal that your body needs the right support, the right training, and the right mindset to fight back. You are not alone. Millions of men your age face the same struggle in silence. But silence ends here. The 7 techniques you've just discovered are not quick fixes. They are the path to lasting control, stronger erections, and a renewed sense of intimacy. Like George, you can reclaim your confidence. You can feel wanted again. You can step back into the bedroom without fear, without shame, and without hiding behind excuses. If this message spoke to you, like this video, share it with a brother who needs to hear it, and comment below. Tell me your story. Your voice could be the encouragement another man desperately needs tonight. And subscribe, because every week we uncover new ways to protect your penis health, restore your erections, and take back the intimacy you deserve. Remember this truth. Premature ejaculation after 60 is not a sentence. It's a challenge, and challenges are meant to be overcome.